What's happening, everybody? Ryan Thomas live here on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, diving into a topic that does not involve the Buffalo Bills. Well, actually, it does involve the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins made a brave decision to bench Ryan Fitzpatrick. As the headline says, the Dolphins bench Ryan Fitzpatrick. I wanted to dive into this topic of discussion on the show earlier today. Had a lot of things to do today, got a lot of things done today, including picking up my brand new Sabres Royal Blue Threads. Very much looking forward to picking up this jersey. I want to say thank you to Mike at the New Era store, or at the, New Era, you could say, not New Era store, the Sabres store, for getting this jersey made for me and bringing it out to me in the pouring rain in downtown Buffalo. It was pretty weird today being in downtown Buffalo, as it was raining, it was quiet, it wasn't too hectic. It was a little strange. It was a little bit abnormal, shall I say. And picking up this jersey is really awesome, authentic, genuine NHL. The real deal. And to pick this up was really cool. I got my baseball, football, sports number 31 on it, my last name on it. I thought it was pretty awesome. So very much excited to rock these threads during these live broadcasts of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. As I said from the top, this is a football show. Obviously I'm a one Buffalo guy, so I had to rock the new jersey with the amazing Buffalo Sabres crest. You can actually see, for those of you that are actually watching this, you can actually see the difference in the crest itself with the refined, Buffalo. It is awesome. I love them. I love these jerseys. This is probably one of my favorite jerseys I've ever had, and I've only worn it once right here, right now. So hopping on here, though, to dive into the topic of discussion, the Dolphins, as I said from the top, bench Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I want to talk about whether I believe this was a good move or a bad move. Really diving into this, though, I have to say that for bias reasons, I'm going to say that this was a move, whether it's a good move or a bad move. I'll dive into that, of course. But the facts remain, this was a move I did not expect at this current time in the season, especially given how well Ryan Fitzpatrick had played to date. This was probably one of the best starts to his career. This was probably the hottest stretch of his career. And Fitz is a wacky player. He's had a lot of hot stretches in his career. He's bounced around a lot. He did some productive things with the Jets, the Buccaneers. Remember a couple years back, Jameis Winston was suspended, and Ryan Fitzpatrick played those 4 games pretty efficiently. And, you're like, well, are they going to bench Jameis Winston? Is that it for Jameis Winston? No, Jameis Winston got his job back. So it's not the first time that Ryan Fitzpatrick has been slighted by the team that he played so well for. You can even go back to, being a member of the Buffalo Bills over the course of the time that he was here. He got paid, got a very solid contract extension, and then underperformed post getting that extension. So he was shipped out of town due to that. There has been every which reason that you could think of in which Ryan Fitzpatrick has been somewhat shunned, slighted, exiled, fired, whatever term you want to use. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is a savvy vet in this league. He's spent a lot of years in this league. He's seen it all. But watching Ryan Fitzpatrick react, watching Ryan Fitzpatrick dive into how he feels in regards to this news, I felt truly bad for him. I really did. It seemed as if this was an extremely heartbreaking process for him. And as I always remind you guys, fire away some comments. You want to fire some comments off to me in terms of how you feel about this move, how this move will affect the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to dive into that as well. So this is a Bills topic-centered show. It's just that I have to dive into the Dolphins benching Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is massive news for the AFC East. This is massive news for the future of the Miami Dolphins, because with one benching comes the starting decision of starting the Tua era, and the Tua era starts right here, right now. Tua is a dominant player at the collegiate level, was a dominant player at the collegiate level, put together a great stretch prior to that devastating hip injury. And I was the first to say it, 2020, I was the first to say, 2020 draft class, I should say, on a lot of different shows. I liked Joe Burrow, obviously, as the number one quarterback in this 2020 draft. I liked Justin Herbert more than I did Tua. And thus far, this is Tua's first shot, November 1st. They're playing the LA Rams. That is Tua's first start. But I think Herbert is the better quarterback. Just from what I've seen, what I've watched, and what I know of both players, I really like Herbert more. But Tua has the opportunity now, a real opportunity to actually play and to actually prove while playing. Prove me wrong. We'll find out. We'll see. But hearing this news, I was a little bit shocked that Ryan Fitzpatrick was benched. I was a little bit shocked at the timing of it. I was a little bit shocked given the performances that Ryan Fitzpatrick has been able to string together. Now, for fantasy football purposes, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow were the two quarterbacks that I drafted along with Sam Darnold at the start of the season. I have a story with this, so just bear with me. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Sam Darnold. Those are the three quarterbacks that I start my 2020 fantasy season off with. And those were three quarterbacks that I thought, okay, Darnold, I'm not going to start a lot. He's only going to be used in buys. Joe Burrow, I've had high expectations for him due to the supporting cast that he has. I know their offensive line, and since he's not that good, but wide receiver core, I think is pretty solid. And the player himself, Joe Burrow himself, I think is pretty damn good. And Lamar is Lamar, one of the elite top tier quarterbacks in this league. So I thought that, that was a solid decision to go down that road with those three guys. Meanwhile, I'm seeing the torrid pace that Ryan Fitzpatrick is putting together, and I'm thinking to myself, as long as Fitz continues to play like this, as long as Fitz continues to put together successful weeks each and every week, I think it's going to be that much tougher for the Dolphins to decide on whether they should or shouldn't sign Tua Tagovailoa. And if I mispronounced the last name, my apologies, but truthfully, that is what I thought. And now, being that the Dolphins are heading into their bye week, I really wonder whether or not the Dolphins actually had this planned, and how long did they have this planned? Was this always their plan, or was this a plan that they just came up with within the last few weeks? It's hard for me to come up with a more concrete answer, because I think that this was somewhat always the plan for the Miami Dolphins, to wait until the bye week, whether Fitz is successful or not. 12 total touchdowns, over 1,300 passing yards, not too many turnovers, if any at all. I think I can count on the top of my head maybe one or two picks. Don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but let's just call it like it is. Ryan Fitzpatrick played his heart out, played his soul out for this team, played his ass off for this team, and to be benched heading into the bye week, it is a little bit of a slight against Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I say good move or bad move, we create that discussion. We have that discussion anytime a team makes a move quite like this one, where your quarterback was successful and you decide, hey, we're going to go with the young guy. We're going to go with the young gun. I have that conversation always when this situation arises for any team, whether it's the Bills, whether it's the Dolphins, whoever it may be. That discussion has to be had. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, this was literally his swan song. So he was going to play his tail off for the Miami Dolphins. He was going to try to put something together for Miami any which way he could. And the fact that he was able to do that, putting the Dolphins one game behind the Buffalo Bills as the AFC East standings look right now, the Dolphins are one game back. For Miami to make this move, in particular for Brian Flores to make this move, I don't want to say it's a good move because I think it's an ordinary move. I don't want to say it's a bad move because we don't know the results of this move yet. But the timing of it, if you were to ask me about the timing, whether the timing of this move was justifiable, whether the timing of this move actually makes sense for the Dolphins moving forward, I would say on the surface, no. No. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but Ryan Fitzpatrick played so well that why rush Tua's starting development when you're one game out of the AFC East? You have Buffalo on the docket again. You have the remaining divisional matchups on the horizon. It doesn't hurt in this day and age to have your franchise quarterback or perceived franchise quarterback sit a season. The last guy to do it, off the top of my head, the last guy that sat a season that actually looked very good in the midst of sitting a season was Pat Mahomes. I'll just throw that out there for you guys. Was Pat Mahomes. Bet Mitch Trubisky wishes he sat a year. I'm not saying Tua is Mitch Trubisky. I think Tua is a damn talented player. I really do. But I think maybe this is a little too soon. Had the Dolphins gone about this in a much better fashion in terms of letting Fitz play like these next 2-3 weeks, letting Fitz go about his business, they go 1-2. They go 0-3. Then or maybe even 0-2, 0-3, then you have a justifiable reason. But I feel like this is, timing-wise, a curious decision by Brian Flores, and it is the most important decision that Brian Flores has had to make as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. The most important decision that he's had to make is when will we decide to take the keys and give them to Tua. And watching Ryan Fitzpatrick talk to ESPN and talk about how this was the most devastating feeling that he has had in his career. He has been through this many times. And to go through this again is one thing. But to go through this feeling like this team was his team, that's something completely different. Because now you're talking about the fact that your teammates rallied around you and were willing to support you and were willing to put you in a position to succeed, and yet they still thought, well, we're going to go with the younger guy. We're going to go with the younger guy. We think the younger guy will be better for us and our future. They're not just saying, hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick, we're benching you. They're saying, Ryan Fitzpatrick, we don't see you in our future. Already 7 weeks into the season, 7 weeks into the season, when you threw 12 touchdown passes, when you ran, touchdowns into the end zone, 12 total touchdowns. So, I go back a few weeks ago, I'm sitting, honest to God, I'm sitting in a Applebee's and I'm eating dinner with my dad. And I'm looking at who I should start in my fantasy lineup because I did drop Sam Darnold for Ryan Fitzpatrick eventually. And the Dolphins are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars on Thursday Night Football. And I say to myself, well, should I start Ryan Fitzpatrick? Should I do it? Should I make this decision? Should I start Fitz? My dad's like, maybe you should start him because Burrow's going up against such and such, whoever, whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll start him. I'm like, God damn, Ryan Fitzpatrick did it again. He defied the odds once again. And having to, quote unquote, cut, in terms of fantasy football purposes, having to cut Ryan Fitzpatrick today was actually extremely depressing. 10 passing touchdowns, 12 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but 1,500 passing yards. The interception total was higher than I thought, but in true Fitzmagic fashion, the games that he threw interceptions, he would throw multiple interceptions or 3 interceptions. So the first week against New England, not so hot. Second week against Buffalo, 31-47, kept that game close. They lost that one 28-31, 2 touchdowns, as you guys know. And against Jacksonville, 18-20, 160 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Then the following week against Seattle, he throws for over 300 yards, 29-45, 2 interceptions. The following week against San Francisco, he puts up fantastic numbers, 22-28, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and what was a 43-17 win for the Miami Dolphins. Pardon me on that light. So the Jets game, 18-27, 191, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And for the folks that are going to be listening to this, my light went out when I was talking, so I had to. That's what I was saying. And pardon me on that light for. That's what I was saying that for, I should say. But now week 7 bye, you got the Rams, you got the Arizona Cardinals, you got the Chargers, you got Denver, you got the Jets. You have some pretty tough defenses in terms of the Rams and the Chargers. Cardinals, so. Denver and the Jets, those are decent matchups for Tua to take advantage of. But literally cutting the season in half, essentially, for Fitz and Tua, I just didn't feel like that was the right time. Let's see this Fitz magic play itself out for a little bit. Let's see this Fitz train rolling. Let's keep it rolling. So let me also remind you that you go through the script of Ryan Fitzpatrick's career, right? You go through the entire journey. And I ask myself this question. And it's a question that I hate asking myself. But it's a question that I think we need to ask. And that is this the end of Ryan Fitzpatrick? Is this where Fitzmagic ends? Or is this the start of something new? Is there another new beginning for Ryan Fitzpatrick? I want to say that there are a few players in this league that I have enjoyed watching over the last 10 years, 8 years, specifically 8 years, 10 years, maybe 11, than Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I have truly enjoyed watching this guy play, whether he was the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, whether he was the quarterback of the Jets, the Texans, the Bucks, the Dolphins. He's just a guy that is so easy to root for, and he is someone that you can easily admire. And I have said this for years. I personally think that Ryan Fitzpatrick should have a ESPN 30 for 30 documentary, because the career that this guy has had is truly remarkable. An Ivy League quarterback out of Harvard, the fact that he was able to muster up the career that he did. I remember this guy chucking the ball around for the St. Louis Rams at the time. I remember this guy chucking the ball around in Cincinnati when Carson Palmer got hurt, saying, this guy's got some potential. Who knows if he's a starter, but he's a pretty damn good backup. He comes to Buffalo. Chan Gailey says, there's something about this guy. Is he a starter? Can he understand my quick-paced offense in terms of throwing the ball over the middle, getting the ball out of his hand quick, and get the ball out of his hand pretty damn quick? Let's see this guy run this offense. And, he had a ton of success here in Buffalo. There was success. I don't want that perception to ever get lost in translation, because there was success for Ryan Fitzpatrick in Buffalo. Stevie Johnson and Fitz were one of the most dynamic duos that I have seen in this generation of Buffalo Bills football. And getting the chance to talk with Stevie, meeting him in person, asking him about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Stevie Johnson saying that he is just a sharp guy in terms of his ability to read defenses, in terms of his ability to say so few words, but for those few words to mean a lot. He has that funny, dynamic personality, but on the field, Ryan Fitzpatrick is always a buttoned up type guy where he wants to just tell his teammates where he's going with the ball without saying a whole lot. And, I am going to miss him. If this is the end of Ryan Fitzpatrick's starting, football career as a starting quarterback in this league, if this was his last hurrah, I'm going to miss him. There are a few players in this league that have been able to maintain the career that they have had for as long as they have had, like Ryan Fitzpatrick has. You got to think every which team that he has played for, he has found a way, whether it was due to injury or being a bridge quarterback, he has found a way to start and to play at a successful level. And, I think calling him a journeyman would actually be a compliment. There's that distinction of the quarterback being a journeyman. In Ryan Fitzpatrick's case, I think that's a compliment because this guy was not supposed to be even a journeyman. This guy was supposed to be in the league, maybe out of the league 4 or 5 years, 6 years at most. Here he is, 16, 17 years later. It is truly a iconic accomplishment in the sense that in this era of the National Football League, that a quarterback could last as long as he has. And we have to fully acknowledge that. So I'm just responding to a comment here. So my last topic in terms of this decision, right? What does this mean for the Buffalo Bills? Now we put on our Buffalo Bills cap, like I'm wearing right now. What does this mean for the Buffalo Bills? How does this decision by the Miami Dolphins impact the Buffalo Bills, if at all? And I think it greatly impacts my outlook on the AFC East. Do I think Ryan Fitzpatrick gave the Dolphins a better chance to win than Tua? I can't say that because we haven't seen Tua play at the National Football League level. Do I think there are facets of Tua's game that provide the Miami Dolphins a better chance to win in comparison to Ryan Fitzpatrick? 100%. Tua can do things that Ryan Fitzpatrick couldn't even dream of doing. And it's not in the sense that I'm slighting Fitzpatrick and saying that. There are things that Fitzpatrick can do that Tua has not done in this league quite yet. Obviously, Fitz has been in the league for 15, 16, 17 years. Tua hasn't even started a game yet. So Tua's got to get to where Ryan Fitzpatrick was at some point in his career. The light bulb has to go off in order for Tua to put up consistent results start after start after start. He's got to get to that point whenever that point comes, sooner rather than later in the case of the Dolphins and their hopes. I think that Tua offers the Dolphins a completely new dynamic in comparison to Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Chan Gailey is going to take advantage of that. Chan Gailey hasn't had a quarterback that could be a weapon like this since his days in Pittsburgh with a quarterback by the name of Slash, known as Cordell Stewart. And Tua's got a little bit of that flash, a little bit of that slash, a little bit of that Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Mahomes, Allen. He's got a little bit of that. He's got a little bit of all that. And I think the Dolphins want to weaponize their offense further by putting Tua in. I think that's the main reason, in my humble opinion, why the Dolphins would make this decision. And for the Buffalo Bills, this means that they're going to be facing a quarterback the second go-around with the Miami Dolphins that is a much more dynamic athlete, that can bring a lot more to the table, that can frustrate an opposing defense far more easily in terms of the athleticism that Tua brings to the table. Fitz has athleticism, no doubt about it, but Tua is just a rare quarterback in this league, and he's a rare entity in general, whether you're talking about the collegiate ranks or the NFL ranks. Here's a quarterback that brings a lot of different dynamics to the table. So for the Bills, I think that this will be a little bit of a different test. To say that it's tougher, we'll find out, but a little bit of a different test. And if I'm, any opposing team, I would say to myself, well, they got faith in their rookie. Tua has to be feeling fantastic right now. They decide to go with him in the midst of their bye week, which I didn't see that coming. But I'm excited to see what happens as far as the Bills and Dolphins. The Allen versus Tua era has begun. I honestly, to go back to a previous topic, is this the end of Ryan Fitzpatrick in terms of him as a starting quarterback? I would hope not. I think this guy still has the ability to make plays in this league and to be a factor in this league. Will there be another team that will be willing to give Ryan Fitzpatrick a shot at a starting quarterback job? We'll see. We'll see. I think, Washington could be a team that's interested. Have to be a team that really doesn't have much direction in terms of their quarterback situation. They're kind of walking on eggshells in terms of maybe waiting on a younger guy or something like that. Fitz could find himself in another situation eventually where he is replaced by another young guy. And that's what's going to happen when you are Fitzpatrick's age, playing at this high of a level. It's about getting younger, getting more athletic, getting more green. But if this is the end to Ryan Fitzpatrick, what a hell of a career. Nothing to hang your head over. You accomplished quite a lot as being a bridge quarterback for plenty of franchises, while providing success to those franchises. You should be thankful and you should be grateful for the career that you've had. You've earned it. And if this is the end of the road for Ryan Fitzpatrick, we'll miss him. I know in Buffalo, we hold him near and dear to our hearts. He's always been somebody that we've rooted for, just not when he's playing against us. And, maybe we will see him retire as a Buffalo Bill because we were the first team that really gave him a true shot at being a starter in this league. It ultimately obviously didn't work out, but he's still somebody that we greatly respect and admire and root for, just as long as he's not playing our Buffalo Bills. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Ryan Fitzpatrick benched. Tua. The Tua era in Miami begins next November 1st. And is this the end of Ryan Fitzpatrick? Talked about that. Good, bad move. Talked about that. What does it mean for the Bills? Facing a much more athletic quarterback. Buckle up. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and go Bills.